James Gunn's Superman is almost here. And whether you're excited, cautiously optimistic, or preparing for the worst, one thing's for sure. People are watching, closely. Because this isn't just another reboot. It's a reset, a clean slate, a new chance for the DCU to finally get on track. But based on what we've seen so far, the tone, the colors, the optimism, it's clear Gunn is looking backward as much as he's looking forward, specifically back to Richard Donner's 1978 classic. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Donner's Superman, played with grace and heart by Christopher Reeve, remains one of the most iconic interpretations of the character. It's sincere, idealistic, and yes, a little dated, but in the best way possible. But James Gunn isn't the first to try this. Let's rewind, it's 2004. The superhero genre is still in its infancy post-X-Men, Spider-Man, and Batman Begins. Warner Brothers has been desperately trying to get Superman back on the big screen. Kevin Smith's failed Superman script, the Tim Burton version with Nicolas Cage, and J.J. Abrams' wild flyby script, all scrapped. Then, in 2006, Bryan Singer gave us Superman Returns, a direct sequel to Donner's first two films, a spiritual and literal continuation. Brandon Routh stepping in as Reeves' successor. The music, the look, the action, all carefully crafted to feel like a natural extension of that world. But while it looked like Donner's Superman, it didn't feel like it. And the biggest reason why? It forgot who Superman is. The entire premise of Superman Returns hinges on one decision. Superman has left Earth. He hears rumors that astronomers may have discovered remnants of Krypton, that he might not be alone. So he leaves, disappears for 5 years. No goodbyes, no explanation. He just ghosts everyone. And what does he find? Nothing. No survivors. He wasted 5 years of his life just to remind us he is still the last son of Krypton. Meanwhile, Earth has moved on without him. Lois Lane has moved on and is raising a child with her new fiancé, and Lex Luthor, recently released from prison, is hatching yet another land grab scheme, this time using stolen Kryptonian crystals to create a new continent. And maybe in the hands of a different character, that would be a powerful, poignant story. But here's the thing. Superman would never do that. Superman doesn't abandon Earth. He doesn't leave behind his mother, his friends, or the people he's sworn to protect to chase ghosts across the stars. Because at his core, Superman is not about loneliness. He's about belonging. He's not the alien trying to find a home. He is home. He's the immigrant who chose Earth, who believes in truth, in justice, and in being there when people need him most. The Superman we know wouldn't disappear for 5 years on a selfish quest. Not without cause. Not without responsibility. And yet, Superman Returns builds its entire emotional arc around the idea that he would. Worse, the film tries to make up for this narrative misstep by giving him a son, Jason, as if to say, see? He's not alone after all. But instead of deepening his character, it just tarnishes it. The story retrofits Superman into a distant, absentee father. That feels completely incompatible with who he is. Singer's film wants the credibility of Donner's legacy without honoring what made it work. It uses the aesthetics, the music, the iconography, but it retcons the fundamentals. Reeves' Superman was earnest, present, hopeful. Brandon Routh's version, through no fault of his own, is melancholy, passive, and strangely hollow. So how could it have worked? What if Superman Returns opened not with abandonment, but with sacrifice? Imagine this. Metropolis is under siege, a real existential threat. Lex Luthor unleashes a weapon from the Phantom Zone, or maybe Brainiac descends on Earth for the first time, something beyond anything Superman has faced. And in true Superman fashion, he flies in to save the day. He gives everything to stop our impending doom. Maybe he flies a doomsday device into deep space like Tony Stark. Maybe he's pulled into the Phantom Zone himself. Whatever the case, he wins, but the cost is everything. He vanishes. Superman is gone. He didn't leave. He sacrificed. The public mourns, Lois grieves, and life, slowly, painfully, moves on. Then, years later, he returns, alive, but changed. The world has healed in his absence. Lois has found someone else. She has a child. And now we understand the emotional tension, not just for Superman, but for Lois. She didn't abandon him. She lost him. And now, seeing him again forces her to confront the guilt of having moved on, while he has to process a world that no longer has a space for him. That version of the story reframes the entire premise. It's no longer about Superman acting selfishly. It's about him doing the right thing and paying a deep, personal price. We would empathize with him. We'd feel for Lois. Their pain would be real, and the story would gain emotional weight without betraying the core of who Superman is. It still wouldn't be a conventional Superman movie, but at least it would be true to the character and to the legacy it was trying so hard to honor. Superman Returns didn't fail because it lacked action. It failed because it misunderstood its own hero. It wore the cape, it played the theme, but it didn't understand the man underneath it. Superman isn't distant, he isn't absent. He doesn't run from responsibility, he defines it. That's what Richard Donner understood. That's what Christopher Reeve embodied. And now, almost 20 years later, we're at the edge of another new beginning. James Gunn says his Superman will be kind, optimistic, grounded. If he can tap into the heart of who this character is, not just the icon, but the ideal, then maybe, just maybe, he'll remind the world why Superman still matters. Not because he's powerful, but because he shows us how to be better. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. It really helps more people find it. Got thoughts on Superman Returns or hopes for James Gunn's version? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if you want more deep dives into superhero films, movie legacies, and where things went wrong or right, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay hopeful, stay heroic, and remember, Superman never really leaves us.